And welcome to The Rest is Football with Micah Richards and me, Gary Lineker. Now, I need a little bit of an explainer here because Alan is at a party, but he did do what we thought would be the first half of the show, but we've turned that into the second half because we think Manchester United, Liverpool should lead. So Alan had to go to a party later. Micah and myself planned to do this late, so we've kind of twisted it round. It's a game of two halves, basically, in the wrong order, but it's okay. Micah, we've just watched Manchester United win at Anfield, and I actually thoroughly enjoyed the game. It was end to end, and I thought United did really well, really well. Liverpool huffed and puffed. They hit the woodwork a lot. Can we call him Cody Gakpost?
Gakpost. Was it three times he hit the woodwork and a few other chances as well?
Yeah, and then scored. So it was a cracking game, though, wasn't it?
I thought Man United were absolutely superb. I've questioned the system a lot, and I think the system can work against teams who are superior, say, on the ball, on the counter-attack. But I think it was more than that today. I think there was organised. I think Mount makes a massive difference in the way they press.
Great energy.
So much energy, a little bit more mobile. I thought Burmo and Cunha were brilliant. I thought Ahmad, before he went off in forward areas, was dangerous. But what I liked the most about Man United was the spirit. How many times have people talked about them buckling under pressure? And when it went to 1-1, the crowd, Anfield crowd, was up. But I've been in them situations where it's so difficult to get a foothold in a game. And then for Harry Maguire to score, it just epitomizes him as a player and as a person. All the flack he gets, he keeps going right to the end. There was a few fans talking about he shouldn't be in the team and all that sort of thing. But in terms of what he does and brings to this team, it's all heart, and I actually believe they deserved it. Of course, you're going to look to Liverpool's chances hitting the post, but Man United had chances too.
Yep.
So in terms of the game today, I think all the praise has to go to Man United. To go to Anfield and win is massive.
It really is. And I echo your sentiments about Harry Maguire. I always think it's a bit unfair the stick he gets because, you know, with Harry, you're always getting 100%. He's brilliant in both boxes, crosses and heading them out or heading them in, as he did in both ends today. He's also actually very comfortable and confident on the ball. But we all know he lacks a little bit of pace on the turn, which, you know, there's nothing you can do about that, as that's one thing you can't really improve on particularly. But he never lets anyone down, Harry Maguire, I think, generally. He's a great trier, great leader. And I was really pleased for him. So I love him when he was at Leicester. I mean, we're big fan of his, and he went to Manchester United, and let's say it's been up and down for him, no question about that. But overall, I think that's obviously a big win for Amorim. I think it's his first time he's had back-to-back Premier League victories, which is an extraordinary statistic. I don't know whether you've seen that bloke on social media, Micah, that has said he's not going to get his hair cut until they win, 4 or 5 games on the bounce or something. 5 in a row. I think it started at the beginning of last season. It's like massive hairdo. So he's only, 3 games away now from having a trim. Quite amusing. So, yeah, I think also we have to say that Manchester United, I think, generally have been better against the bigger clubs. I know not necessarily at Anfield and against Liverpool, but under Amorim a little bit, and even prior to Amorim, they're sort of better on the counter attack.
Of course, yeah.
But if for a club like Manchester United, you can't ultimately be that, because you're going to play against teams with a low block, and that's where they've struggled. See, I used the block word there.
You see,
Micah?
Everyone's using the block word now.
Yeah. Which will come into the second half, because we've recorded the second half before the first half. So I already know that we're going to mention blocks and low blocks and high blocks and mid blocks, which amused Alan quite a bit.
It did. It really did. Just another point. on Man United, it was. You mentioned the fact that they're better on the counter-attacks, which they are against the big sides. But today wasn't fluke, you know? Sometimes it's you defending and Liverpool have all the possession and you get a fluky goal. Today wasn't that. I remember at the start of the season, I was doing first game, it was Man United Arsenal. And me and Roy was in the studio and was talking about how Man United improved. And I saw improvements. And then, as soon as I said I saw improvements, they went on that terrible, terrible run. But now, the next phase for Man United is to be consistent and pick a team who you know is not going to let you down at the weekend. I thought the subs did ever so well when they came on as well. But that's more of the Man United that's going to challenge for, you know, Europe if they play like that. And I don't mean Champions League. I'm not getting too excited, but in terms of European football. I've
got a lot of friends who are Manchester United fans, and I wouldn't say there were arguments, but let's say debates and discussions, and they always go, players don't care, they're not trying. It's not a full... And you've played for teams where you're struggling. It's not a question of effort, is it? It's a question, sometimes when your confidence gets sapped, your ability is drained. And I think that's what it's been for Manchester United. And also, obviously, they've not really been able to compete on that sense. But I've never felt it was an effort. Not necessarily effort, but, you know, they don't care. And you see when the reactions to when they score goals, even in other games, not the big games against Liverpool, but it really matters to them. And they'll be feeling the pressure, and it's a lot to deal with. So I'd never thought it was an effort or they're not trying or anything like that. I just think they're a bit lost at the moment as a club. But one thing I will say is that I think for the first time in a few years, their recruitment has been good. I thought, you know, and Bomo's been, I think he's jumped in there and been excellent from the very start. Cunha had his injury, was out, but I think he's done really well. And I thought both of those two today, I thought played really well. And even Tesco, you know, when he's in his bits when he came on, I thought he held it up well, and he showed a bit of awareness around him, and he's not just a big target man. So I think for the first time in a while, perhaps Manchester United fans can be encouraged by the players that they've brought in.
Yeah, but again, it's that consistency now. It's how you back it up. Because I agree with you, and Bournemouth's... And it's not just when he's on the ball, it's off the ball. He works very hard for the team.
Yeah.
But ultimately, especially in the modern or today's game, should I say, you get judged on goal and assists. Unfortunately, they've not had enough compared to, say, last season. But yeah, I agree that the fact that they've been really good signings, but they just need to kick on now.
Yeah. Liverpool fans will argue that play should have been stopped for the first goal because McAllister had the head injury. What did you think?
Yeah, I think it should have been stopped.
It's a fair point, isn't it? Under the current guidelines,
it should have been stopped. It's as simple as that. The referee didn't see it. We always said, or we were told that head injuries.
Yep.
They're going to stop the game. And at first, it looked like it was Van Dijk. But then it looked like he caught an elbow off someone, you know? So, yeah, it should have been stopped, without doubt.
One of those things. What about Liverpool? 4 defeats on the bounce? No, I don't think it... I mean, earlier in the season, there were a few alarm bells, weren't there? They were winning games late, which we all thought was a good thing, but perhaps it was papering over a few cracks. Their recruitment this summer, at the moment, and I'm pretty positive there's so much quality that they brought in that eventually it'll come good. But at the moment, their new signings, they're struggling a little bit with the probably exception of Ekitike. I thought, again, when he came on, looked a real threat.
Yeah, agreed. I think it's difficult. It's sort of... When Man City won the league 4 years in a row, and then they had that drop-off, and then you go and you do your broadcasting, and you have to call it how it is. Liverpool at this moment in time, it's Liverpool at the moment. But I realised, guys, Liverpool.
Yeah, you'll get out of the habit.
Liverpool at the moment, it's just happening. It's not happening. And Kirkes looks a shadow of the player last year for Bournemouth. Yeah. I watched Connor Bradley, and I watched him last season, and he was filling in for Trent. Every time he came into the team, he was excellent. He was energetic. He could tackle 1 versus 1. The Liverpool fans were really buying into what he's doing. I watched him for Northern Ireland against Slovakia. And again, he was outstanding. But
you
not
watched
just
Northern Ireland versus Slovakia.
Micah,
that is impressive.
That's how sad I am. I watched the whole game as well. And Connor Bradley was superb. Tackling, leading it, captain, up and down, doing skills. He's a shadow of the player this season in the Liverpool side. When he goes forward, it's always like, in his head, he's thinking, I need to release the ball to somebody. He can do it. He can do it. And he's playing within himself at the moment. I think I've been there a couple of times in my career where you've got better players in the team and you think you're in a team for a certain role. What he needs to get out of his head, he's not there to replace Trent because he can't. Trent was a 1 in a million player that Liverpool had. But the way Liverpool play, he can be effective with the timing of his runs, the low cross across the box he can put in, and he's good on one. But at the moment, he's just he looks like a nervous wreck. He really does. And I'm a believer he can turn it right. But when you've got a midfielder coming in to replace you at right back, it's just he needs to do more, and I think he can do more, and that's what that's why I'm saying it.
In the summer, we're all going, my, what a window Liverpool have had. Do you think possibly they've taken on too much at one go? So they've made for a team that were super successful last season, cruised through the Premier League, won it easily, and then to bring in so many new faces, 5 and also with Trent leaving, Connor Bradley probably stepping in. So you've got 5 or 6. That's a lot to fit in, and some of them will, as has been proved, some of them will adapt quickly and some of them won't, generally speaking, but none of them really have adapted particularly quickly. So with the exception of Ekitike. So I just wonder why shouldn't we expect them to have a few issues about working out who's best, who's going to settle in quickly, to take that many on? I think about the Ferguson years and the constant success, and they kept creating different teams, didn't he? Probably 3 over his managerial lifetime, really 3 teams. But they did it. It was gradual, wasn't it? They're bringing 1 or 2 signings each summer, whereas Liverpool have, they've gone all out. Big changes.
I think a couple of things on that, guys. I think they've needed to. If Trent's going to go, they had to replace the right back. Robertson was getting a little bit older, even though he can still do a job. So they had to get Kirkes with a form of him. The passing of Jota, that's not something Liverpool expected. So they had to bring in another player in that position. But I don't think it's an excuse because the quality of player that they're bringing in. If you spend over 100 million on Wirtz and Isak, they should be ready to go. And we give Wirtz a little bit more time because he's coming into a different league. And I have no doubt that it will come good. And I thought he actually played well when he come on the game today. But Isak is a shadow of the player. This whole debacle of what happened in the summer, it's showing. He's not fit. Arne Slot said in the press conference before that now we're going to see the real Isak because he looks like he's going to be fit now. But the chance that he had in the game, if he's at Newcastle, he took that away.
But I also would say that because of the length of time all that debacle took place, he wouldn't be as fit and fresh. So he's playing catch up. And when you miss pre-season, it's almost like an injured player coming back. So I would actually give him a little bit more time because he's only played a handful of games. It's almost like he's going through pre-season during a real season. So I would give him a little bit of time on that front, and I think he'll come good because he's such a classy player. But I'll ask one question: at the moment, if you were picking your 9, you go Ekitike ahead of Isak,
without doubt. And you've just answered the question yourself. If you say, do you give Isak a little bit more time, and he's not, where does he get his minutes from? Okay, on international maybe. But Ekitike, he's the better 9 at the moment. It's as simple as that. He's fitter, he's sharper. When he came on, he created chances for himself. The change of formation to try and accommodate both of the strikers when they went to sort of a 4-2-4, it looked like at one stage in the game. Then they bring Isak off. I just think Ekitike settled in better, and he's had a better pre-season. It's as simple as that, but he has to play.
It's a test, actually, for Arne Slot. I mean, you say it's his first real test, but his first real test was when he came in, obviously, and filled the shoes of Jurgen Klopp. But it'll be interesting to see how they fare over the next few weeks. Obviously, they need to get back into the ways of last season and a bit of confidence. It's all confidence. It's amazing how, not just football, but all sport, the way you shift the momentum and things are going for you and then they don't go for you. Also interesting, almost a statement from Arne Slot that he brought Mo Salah off, trailing 2-1 when you need a goal. And we know what Mo's like. He can pop up, and I know he missed a chance and he was very quiet in the game, but it was an interesting decision. I mean, it nearly paid off immediately because Frimpong went down, crossed the ball, and Gakpo should have scored.
It nearly worked out.
But I just thought, Mo won't like that. You know Mo.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, the manager's got to do what's right for the team. No player's bigger than the team, and Mo's being a team player. At the moment, he's not the Mo we've seen in previous years. Normally, he would have popped up with a goal. That chance when he hit with the outside of his foot, he normally just bends that into the far corner. And I have no problem with the manager taking off Mo.
No. The interesting thing, Micah, is that as well as speaking as a striker in my day, that when things are not going for you, the ball dropped right between his feet. So he didn't know whether to try and open himself up and hit it with the inside of his foot or try and hit it with the outside of his foot. It was just, when things are going for you, when you're in form, that would have dropped perfectly 3 or 4 inches further to the left, and he'd have just opened himself up and bent it in the top corner. It's funny how those things happen.
But when things are going well, Gaz, you don't even think about the finish. You take the touch and do it.
Exactly.
You don't even think about it. You take your touch and you whip it into the
The game is a mind fuck, as is fantasy football, Micah. Because have you got Mo in your team?
Yes, I have got Mo. And for the first time in fantasy, or I should say fantasy football history, I'm thinking about taking him out.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not because I don't think he will get his form back. Other players, I could get 2 players who are doing well for what Mo's doing at the moment.
Yeah, I did it a couple of weeks ago.
Did you?
Yeah, but I'm all ahead of the game on this fantasy football team.
Let me see how many points you got this week.
I did all right this week. I don't know how to find out my points. That's how bad I am at this game.
You got 72 this week.
That's all right. It's respectable, isn't it?
What did I get?
What did you get, Micah?
74.
Oh, you beat me, see? So, you know.
It's tight. I'm not ever going to mention producer Harry because he's gloating.
He's chuckling here on the left of me. He's going, I got 93. I got 93.
He's gone top of the league as well. Trats.
Oh, dear. Before we move on to the other game played today, Mike, I just want to... The first time volleyed cross from Bruno for the goal. I know it was a very good header from Harry Maguire, but that kind of Bruno magic, which he can produce every now and again, was exceptional, wasn't it?
Again, he's Man United's best player, and he has been since he went to the club. He's just different level. And he must have been frustrated over the years because you can see it sometimes. He's a little bit petulant, but that's because he cares so much. But in terms of his quality, it's undoubted. He's so good. Such a good player. Technique. Even playing a little bit deeper, he had to dictate the game in there. And I thought him and Casemiro did really well until Liverpool got back into the game. But he's a special player.
Right. Spurs, Aston Villa. I thought, Spurs got off to a good start. And I thought, well, here we go. But I thought Villa battled away. Well, it could have gone either way, that game. It was pretty end-to-end. I thought Spurs looked a bit light up top. I thought Tell struggled a little bit, I think, to make an impact. And there are a lot of the times, because when, obviously I look at this side of football, when they played a really high line like Villa did today, with not necessarily that much pressure on the ball. And I've said before, I don't mind when players get offside, but he was going so early. He wasn't just offside. He was like 5 yards offside most of the time. He needs a little bit of work. I preferred him perhaps on the left-hand side when I'm seeing him play there. But
yes,
he wasn't making the natural runs of a striker that understands how to beat an offside trap, which is not that difficult when a team plays that high a line with no pressure on the ball.
Yeah, exactly. I echo your thoughts as well. I like him better off the left, but in terms of what Thomas Frank was trying to do, there's a clip or an image of him when they got the goal. He was so happy when the way they pressed. So he wants pace, he wants mobility. And in terms of Tell, he's done all right in recent weeks, but I don't think he's a natural number 9.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't look like it yet, but he's very young and can learn. I wouldn't write that off at the moment. A really good win for Aston Villa. They've turned a bad start to the season, obviously, but I think we all trusted Unai Emery to turn things around, and Morgan Rogers has really found that form that he had last season. I said, what a goal!
What a goal that was! It was that what technique do you call that, Gaz? Ronaldo technique or
twat it technique? Just twat it.
But it was twat it with
knuckleball. We call it knuckleball.
Knuckleball.
It was cricket.
He's a class player. I love watching him so much.
Do they count as knuckles on your feet? Like your knuckles on your... Does they count as knuckles or not? Maybe they should be called fuckles because they're on feet. Whatever they were, it was one hell of a hit.
It was so... I wish I could hit the ball like that. What a player. What a player he is. It's strange though, watching him. He's so different to anything that's in the league. And I know we've mentioned he can hold the ball and turn in midfield, and he sort of uses his body to turn with the ball and keeps it safe and all that sort of stuff. But he's got so much energy also. Yeah. So if you want to press, he's perfect, but also can shoot. But also, I wouldn't say he's a Foden where he can see a pass at that level, but he can still thread them through at the same time,
Yeah, he's got a lot of game.
Yeah, he really has.
He really has.
I like him a lot. I really do.
Yeah, shame for Spurs losing Romero as well in the warm-up didn't help things. But yeah, where do you think they are, Spurs? I mean, obviously last season you've got to remember they finished 17th in the league. So I suppose anything in the top 6, 7 would be a big improvement on last season, although they did have a lot of injuries last season. But I thought they played really well early on in the game. I thought I thought they were two good sides actually. I just think Spurs just lacked a bit at the top.
If you look at Spurs' side, they are where they're supposed to be. If you look at the young talent that they have, if you look at the top manager we know Thomas Frank is.
Definitely.
But they need a little bit more quality. They need Kulusevski back. That's what they need.
Well, he's a big miss. You forget that.
You forget about Kulusevski.
He's been missing.
Get him back. Yeah. They're cooking again.
And a number 9. I mean,
they've got Solanke, haven't they, as well?
Well, they have, but he's not. I mean, he's been in and out, hasn't he, with injuries and stuff, and it's not quite happened for him.
It looked like Richarlison was going to do something, though, didn't it?
But we know Richarlison's also in and out a bit, isn't he? But if they could, I mean, they're worth their weight in gold. Obviously, we know that's why the club's paid a fortune for them. For out and out strikers that will score you 20 plus goals a season. There are not many around.
Yeah.
I mean, Arsenal have obviously had a pop at with Gyökeres, but will he do it? We don't know yet. He's going through a bit of a tough spell at the moment. But so, yeah, we're worth our weight in gold as goal scorers, Micah.
How much would you be worth today, guess?
Me? Oh, I don't know. It's an interesting question. At the moment, not much because I'm almost 65. So, do you know what? I honestly still reckon I could score half a dozen goals a season just by laying down on the edge of the 6-yard box. I don't know. That's an interesting question, isn't it? But if Isak was worth that, I think the big money bit has dipped a little bit, hasn't it? From the madness. I mean, it's still madness, but yeah, I don't know. I think for 2 or 3 years, without blowing my own trumpet too much, I was probably the best number 9 in the world.
So yeah, what between 150 and 200 is maybe. Yeah,
so yeah, maybe. The salary would have been quite good as well, wouldn't it?
I'm sure you've done all right, guess.
We're doing all right. I'm not complaining. I mean, how much do you need anyway? What do you need? Life is good. Feel blessed. Very lucky. Shall we take a break? And then when we come back, we'll go to a part that we've already done with Alan earlier today, which seems really odd. It's blown my mind.
Bizarre.
But I think it sort of makes sense. Back shortly. This episode is brought to you by Squarespace. Building something off the field? Squarespace makes it easy. Their Blueprint AI gets your website up in minutes and their design tools make it look pro. No tech skills needed. Sell merch, book clients, even run memberships, all from one place. Head to squarespace.com/football for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, use the code FOOTBALL to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Welcome back to The Rest is Football with Micah Richards and me, Gary Lineker, and now Alan Shearer. Alan, you were with Micah last night on Match of the Day, which I watched. I didn't watch it last night. I watched it this morning. And I don't know, you were blocking each other on mid-block, low block, high block.
Can you remember a couple of weeks ago when this idiot absolutely hammered me for the turnover of possession? Did you hear the shit he was coming out with last night? If we didn't have it in my ear saying, right, guys, we have to move on now, I'd have gone back at him and actually said, really? What the fuck is a high block, a mid block, and a low block? The Boffins have got you, Micah Richards. The Boffins have got you, officially.
Hey, the difference is between me and you, Al. They've taken me a long time ago. I don't mind admitting it. I'm a new school. I'm part of the new school of pundits. And you got caught in the trap. You're the one who was saying, I would never say this. I would never do this. And I caught you in the act. So don't come to me now. I've admitted I'm that side of the fence.
Can you explain to us who are naive the high block and the mid block and the low block? What is it in old school terms, please?
Well, basically,
is it like closing down or sitting deep?
It was the Arsenal game, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That you did all three in one piece of analysis, which I thought was spectacular.
Carry on.
So basically, we know you're a dinosaur, Al, and you did your badges, 15 years ago, I'd say. And it is the same. I give you that.
Okay.
But the modern terminology is a press high or a high block is when you're trying to get the ball or you're pressing very high. Okay. The mid block is in the middle of the pitch, and the low block is when you're sitting deep. Yes, so it's the same thing, but different words.
I think Alan's on the brink of blocking you.
I love it. Brilliant.
I mean, as we mentioned Arsenal, we might as well start with them. It's an obviously important result for them because they got themselves to the top of the table. And obviously City had already won and closed the gap a little bit, went ahead of them briefly. And actually Bournemouth were top for a little while until the the late equaliser from Mateta. But Arsenal, it wasn't probably the most free-flowing football, but I thought, Fulham caused them a few problems with their blocks. But they got it done. They didn't create too many chances, but they're hard to score against Arsenal.
They're brilliant. Great defensively. 3 goals conceded, that's all this season. So that's a huge, huge strength of theirs. And obviously, as we know, set pieces. And another one that's won them the game. So they're looking really, really strong.
All I would say is, we basically taking the piss about all the blocks. The point I was trying to make on Match of the Day yesterday was wherever they lose the ball, they always get back into shape very quickly. That is, and that could be the difference between them winning the league this year and not. They've been close past couple of years. If I remember correctly, last season against Fulham, they drew that game 1-1, and the game was a bit of a stinker. This game was no better, really. I think Fulham, at times, were probably the better team in spells, but in terms of their defensive shape and everyone knowing their roles, I don't want to say it's Mourinho type, because I feel like it's not even a disrespect, but they can adapt to what they need, and that's going to set them in good stead for, that title this season.
I don't think that's been disrespectful. I mean, Mourinho's Chelsea's were absolutely outstanding. I mean,
but in terms of people just saying
tough and hard and all of those things, I don't think you have to apologise to say that. I think that's a great trait to have.
I thought Saka kind of epitomises the way they play, doesn't he, as well? He's very creative at times, but also defensively, he works so hard up and down there, and he's feeling his way back, obviously, after being out for a little while. Yeah,
there's no doubt. I think everyone puts a shift in. Even when Martinelli came on later on and they were under pressure last 5 minutes, it was him that was left 1v1 in the box, and he did his job. And so, Saka's brilliant. The work rate, I think that's as impressive in terms of that side of the game as I've seen for a long time, and they're brilliant at it.
Don't you think his decision making is just brilliant for
yes,
Saka?
He's not that. Yeah, Saka.
Yeah.
When he's going forward, he rarely misses a pass, and if he does make a bad pass, he's trying to do something maybe spectacular. But if you look at his decision making on the pitch, he's always in the right position. He can beat players, but he doesn't always take the risk if he doesn't have to. He keeps the ball more often than not, and then he's decisive when he gets into the box and when he needs to. And I think when you compare him to other wingers, some wingers might be better on a one-on-one situation, but in terms of the consistency and his decision-making, he's up there with one of the best in world football.
Yeah.
What do you make of Gyökeres, Alan? I mean, he's going through a bit of a spell now. I think in all comps, 6-7 games without a goal. And I think for Arsenal to really realise their ambitions, potential, call it what you like, he's going to have to start scoring a lot of goals. I think it's a big spell coming up for him over the next few games.
Yeah, I mean, we had a discussion, not a big one last night, but we could only do it briefly. But I think they've paid too much for him. I would say the same with Šeško at Manchester United. But I do think he brings something to the Arsenal team, and he's going to have to score more goals, definitely. But I think one of his positives, one of his pluses for the Arsenal team is that he runs in behind, which then will help create space for others to exploit, But there's no doubt he's going to have to improve his numbers with the goals, because we said it last season, what Arsenal have needed, crying out for, is a goal scorer. Well, he's only got 3 up to now, but they are looking really impressive as a team. And I think he has added something different to the team. Instead of coming short like Havertz might or Marino might have, he offers something going the other way with that, which then opens up a little bit of space.
Well, he needs to start scoring because I've brought him into my fantasy team, and they've got Crystal Palace, Burnley, and Sunderland the next 3 games, which is one of the reasons I brought him in. So, I don't care that much about Arsenal, but I do genuinely care about my fantasy team now, Micah, because it's this contagious thing that you've given to me.
I told you. Once you started, it makes or breaks.
He was non-stop yesterday, guys. Honestly, it was like when Mateta and when Haaland was scoring. It was like someone had won the World Cup the way he was running around in the room and going berserk, screaming and shouting.
I jumped up myself. I was
You be careful jumping up quickly at your age, by the way.
Hey?
I said, Gaz, you better be careful jumping up quickly at his age.
It's the only jumping I do nowadays.
Just to mention something quickly, how do you say the Chelsea striker's name? Is it Guiu?
That's what they were saying in commentary, wasn't it?
We had this last night.
You have to take their word for it.
Because I was doing a bit of analysis on it, guys. Honestly, it was like, right, how are we pronouncing it? What is it? Giyu, and he said to me, I kept on asking the guys when the match was on during the show, right, are you sure that's how? Yeah, that's how. And I said it, and I was concentrating so much, I actually got it right, and my pronunciation was correct, and all I could see was this idiot sat on my left-hand side, he's laughing his absolute head off, going, I was finding it so hard to concentrate. He was praying for me to mess up.
Concentration was the best I've ever seen. He didn't care what he was saying in his clip. I've got to get this name right. And he absolutely nailed it. But I'm laughing at his concentration. So then Gabby, who was presenting, she gives me a little chuckle. At this point, I'm gone. And you know what my big daft laugh is like? I was trying my hardest to keep silent. And Alan's doing his piece, and I nearly laughed out loud during the show. I really had to contain myself. It was a funny moment.
We should get on to Chelsea and the performance of Guiu. Big win for Chelsea, but the story from that game is obviously the Ange Postecoglou. I mean, what was it? Five Premier League games, and obviously a few other games. Clearly hadn't got a victory. I thought you said it perfectly, both of you, on Match of the Day, that, I mean, how can you possibly judge someone over that short a time, particularly when you know you've brought in someone that plays with a completely different style of play to the previous incumbent? Now, it beggars belief, really. It beggars belief, but at the same time, I wasn't the slightest bit surprised. The owner seems to be quite a volatile character, and makes kind of very quick, rash decisions. I would imagine, he will never admit it in a million years, that Nuno Espirito Santo would have been having a slight chuckle to himself, without wishing in any ill on Ange Postecoglou. But I mean, they've gone from being, haven't they, to the end of last season, a club that's qualified for Europe, had an incredible season, played some brilliant stuff, mostly counter-attacking football that had worked. And then, obviously, a little fallout between the owner and the manager, and maybe the director of football that they brought in, Edu. Clearly something gone on there. And then the owner, probably, I mean, it's his football club. Well, it's not really. It shouldn't be. It's the fans' football club, but you know what I mean. And it's always the coach to blame. So he brings in Ange, totally different style of play, and expects things to turn around in 10 minutes. It's not going to happen. Where does he go next after this? I mean, Sean Dyche, by the look of it, but that's another different style.
Yeah, I think 5 league games, of which there was an international break over that period of time as well, wasn't there? So, yeah, it's crazy. I mean, he has to accept the responsibility that he's made a huge error in doing what he did, appointing him, and then not giving him the time. But it doesn't. I'm like you. It doesn't surprise us what happens. And you knew, like, I think he left his seat, didn't he, the owner, with about 25 minutes to go, and you just knew.
I thought to myself, he's gone. You knew, he's doomed unless they turn this around in this game.
But you even got the sense that even if they had won yesterday and then they lost next week, you'd think So it just never worked, unfortunately. But there's no doubt, I guess, when did he speak to Ange? So when's he spoken to the new manager that's going to come in? So there's no doubt he's been speaking to managers, I guess. So, but that's the way football works, isn't it? You know the rules, and you know that you're going into that club that it is volatile. And any football club, if you don't get results, then you're not going to keep your job.
Yeah, agreed. The thing is, and you guys have said it, 39 days.
Yeah.
For 39 days is all a manager had, and Al mentioned it. That's including international break. I think we're living in a world which is a bit scary now. The way football's going, it's not a game that I'm enjoying by decisions. And I'm not just talking about the managers losing their jobs, because it's happened before. We have put a list up on Match today, mainly interim managers, in all honesty. But even just like the referees have so much power. Managers are not getting enough time. It seems as though the disconnect between the players and the fans, because on one hand, you got fans who can't afford to go to all the games. There's too much football, but the clubs need it because of financial benefits. I just think we're losing what we all love at this moment in time. And of course, football needs to be driven to whatever heights it needs to be. But I feel like we're losing the identity a little bit. And after seeing the news yesterday, I was just thinking to myself, the game is officially going. I'm not saying it's gone, but it's going. It's officially going.
I think the sport needs to be really careful. It's
correct.
It's slipping in terms. I still think we see wonderful performances and great games, and ultimately we want to watch the football and we see it. But they've got to. There are a number of things. They need to correct VAR. That's coming. They're already trialling now a thing that I've been obviously championing for a long time, an appeals system. I think they're doing it in was it under 20 World Cup or something?
Like that,
they're trialling it. I'm not sure. So that will help, because you're quite right. The referees have taken over the game. I know that sounds a bit silly, and it is, and they haven't, but they are having way too much impact, because they're not only determining the decisions on the pitch, they're determining the rules off the pitch by referees being in charge of that, which is, I think, not right. So hopefully that'll get changed. And the connect between football clubs and fans is really, really, this is the most important thing for me. The ticket pricing, the way fans are treated when they travel, all these sorts of things that we see, the disrespect for football fans, I think, is something that the game really needs to monitor. There's huge amounts of money in football through television rights, mostly sponsorships, etc. Hugely wealthy owners of football clubs. But what we really must guard against is particularly looking after football fans and ticket pricing, because ticket pricing, they've got to keep. I mean, it's spiraling, and you're pricing out the real football fans, and football without fans in the stadium. Then you can call it officially going, Mike. Yeah. You can say it's officially going at that point, because that would be a problem, because football without fans, as we saw during the COVID era, does not work, and it will and the television numbers will go down, and then you've got big problems. So I think football needs to be very wary of itself at the moment. And I know that's sounds a bit dramatic, but I think there's a sense of truth in that. You've got to keep the football fans engaged, because they love this sport, and you've got to be fair to them.
Well said, boys.
Manchester City, I mean, you were jumping out your chair at Haaland's 2 goals. He probably should have had 3 or 4, but that's often the case, isn't it? If you're with strikers, you've got to be in there to miss them, and he is a brilliant finisher. I mean, he's a powerful machine, isn't he?
He's a beast. He really is.
I'll let you go ahead with this, Alan, as a striker talking about.
Well, I just said if you're building a centre forward from scratch, and you can make him into whatever you want, then he's not too far away from being perfect. I think he's got almost everything that you need. The tools to be a top class. He's a fantastic talent.
You know what I liked about him, Aldo, because do you remember last season when he was getting a little bit frustrated? I did it on Match of the Day about defender sort of playing up against him. But if you watched Haaland and you watch his game, all the time. What he used to do is when the ball was on one side, it always used to go to the back post. Always
Last
used to go
season
to the
he
back
did.
post. All the time. And then at Dortmund and when he was at Salzburg, he used to get them runs in behind because the game was open. Now, what he did yesterday, I was astounded because he's got so many different things to his game now, and it's only little things, and he's always had movement in a certain type of way. So in behind, sort of running between defenders, but the way he pulled off for both goals, and he made the defender think about what to do. And I've not seen that before.
I'm going to interrupt you there, Micah, just to say I watched your analysis. I thought it was brilliant the way you did it, because you did it from a defender's point of view.
Yeah.
About how Haaland made it so difficult for them. And if you haven't seen it, I'd recommend you to watch that on iPlayer, because I thought it was really good. A good angle of doing it, because of a way of thinking about it. Because obviously you said you got Alan next to you that could explain the striker's movement. But you're absolutely spot on with it.
It was ridiculous me trying to talk about a striker. Obviously I can talk about strikers' runs and all that sort of stuff, but you got Alan in the studio. But I was thinking, because when you're watching a clip, or you're watching certain things materialize, like the defender's doing all the right things and still can't stop him. So that's when a striker becomes unplayable in this form. And because he's now changed some certain parts of his runs, you can't mark him.
Micah, I don't know whether it's just me or not, but I think more so than ever this season, Man City are playing to Erling Haaland.
Correct.
In terms of his strengths. When he's always been an amazing goal scorer and always will be. But I think because his numbers are off the charts this season, that they actually are, it's more about Erling this season than it's ever been. In terms of getting it to him, getting it into the box early, getting balls into the box, getting runs in behind and then finding him rather than pass. I think there's more evidence of that this season than we've ever seen.
Totally agree. There was he scored a couple, but then there's 3 other examples which I didn't actually show last night. But as soon as he got the ball in the mid block, he was gone. He was gone, wasn't he? And they've definitely been told, play the ball early. I totally agree, Alan.
The other aspect of it, which is not a technical aspect or a movement aspect, but Alan will absolutely totally agree with me here. You could see his desire to score goals, that hunger to score goals, by how disappointed he was at the end of the game and how he was having a tantrum with himself because he didn't score number 3 and what could have been number 4.
Great attitude.
Yeah, absolutely how he should be. Only 3 times has a player scored 10 or more goals in their first 8 games of the Premier League. All 3 of them, Erling Haaland. Not even you, Al.
No, brilliant.
Not even you.
Al didn't even make the list.
I didn't know.
He didn't. Palace game was tasty, wasn't it?
Well, you mentioned a guy who was disappointed with getting Mateta was devastated with his hat-trick. I mean, he wasn't. He was just devastated.
Quite rightly so, because he would have won the game.
But he was. I've never seen someone look so disappointed when they're walking off with a match ball. But I can understand his frustration because he probably missed the easiest one with the last kick of the game to win it 4-3. But it was a brilliant game. 2 very, very good teams who anyone going up against Bournemouth and Palace this season know they're in for a tough game because they've got some really, really good players.
Can I just ask you two guys, strikers, Mateta, and I think you said a match of the day, he probably missed the easiest one. What did he do wrong in that? Because I think I know, but what did he do wrong?
Leaning back, wasn't he? I thought it fell nicely for him because it bounced about 2 yards in front and it was there perfectly hit, but he just leaning right back, wasn't he?
I'll tell you what he did wrong, Micah, and I see this quite often when the ball's coming across quite quickly like that. What you've got to do in those circumstances, the one thing you must do is keep it down, right? That is because the only danger of missing that, unless the keeper makes some sort of miraculous save, is hitting it over the bar, which is easily done. So the problem with people is they still want to put their foot through the ball. Let the ball hit your foot and then you'll have an angle that will keep it down. And I used to concentrate on that a lot in training. but crossing balls in, whip them in. When they're bouncing, you just let it hit you. Now, you won't get as much pace on the ball, but you don't need it, particularly when a cross is hitting at reasonable pace. So that's the thing. He went through it and he followed through instead of just stopping and like stunning it and just letting it hit your foot and go down, because the angle of the foot will be above the ball, so therefore it will stay low. And I thought technically got that. And automatically, that does keep your head over the ball rather than leaning back, that Alan said as well. So
he's a handful, I know that.
Oh, God, isn't he a handful? God.
Just on that before you go again. But okay, so does your technique change in the way you hit the ball depending on the minute? So that was last kick of the game. So the pressure, is he under more pressure himself? Of course, as fans, you're looking at, he can score a last minute winner, of course. But is he feeling more pressure? Did he not go with the technique you said, Gaz, because of the fact that he was rushing it, or was it just...
I don't think so.
Okay.
Who knows? I mean, he scored a hat-trick, so he's going to be full of confidence. It's not like he's tentative. I just think he's just gone too vigorously at it.
Okay.
Let the ball hit you. So he's tried to hit it with a bit of pace but I doubt he would have even had the time to get nervous over something like that, even if he was that kind of player. So I just think it was...
Krupi deserves a mention as well for Bournemouth.
Yes.
2 goals on his first start.
What a start.
Yeah, brilliant first start. So 2 goals. He'll be feeling high as a kite as well, won't he?
Yeah, certainly will. Let's finish here with, 3 of the promoted clubs. Burnley, of course, beat Leeds. Huge win for them. And Sunderland won again.
At home.
At home.
Strong. 3 wins and a draw at home for Sunderland.
Yeah.
Brilliant. It doesn't take a genius to work it out, but we all said, didn't we, their home form, all 3 of them are going to be really key. And Sunderland winning again. Burnley beating Leeds was a massive result for them. It got them out of the bottom 3. So I think all 3 will be reasonably pleased. Sunderland will be ecstatic.
They should be. None of them are in the bottom 3, are they? Which is
Sunderland will be ecstatic with the start that they've made. But I think anyone going to Sunderland will know. Well, all 3 of them actually, because the way Burnley play and Ellen Road is. So I think nothing's changed my mind that their home form is going to be key and has been already.
Yeah, totally agree. And I think as well, and not just on Match of the Day, or not the platforms that we work on, I think we need a more detailed sort of look at Sunderland, because we've given them a lot of praise, but we've not broke down exactly what they do. Because remember when Forest bought all them players and was thinking, ooh, is this going to work? But they've bought, 161 million worth of players, 14 players, and they've managed to gel so quick. So we had Sunderland struggling, because I did, certainly, because of the amount of players, thinking, would it be too much players? Is it too much of a bigger change? But the managers managed to get them all playing. Of course, he's brought some experienced signings who could go straight in. But I think Sunderland need a little bit more of a deep dive.
Well, we'll let you do that, Micah, rather than me.
And a word on Burnley. Again, you've got to make that home, that Turf Moor is a difficult place
31% possession, they had at home.
Yeah.
They had, I think Leeds had 17 shots or efforts from inside the box. 21 shots.
Newcastle goal, he did well, didn't he?
Yeah, he did, yeah.
Dubravka, I thought was good.
That's the way they play, isn't it?
And what a goal, by the way. And how do we say this young man's name? Loom Chawana or Chuna? Chawana.
I heard the commentator say that, Chawana, so yeah.
Great name, great goal.
Yeah, great goal. Fantastic.
Splendid, absolute. Yeah, just a quick bit on the game. Leeds totally dominated.
Yeah,
they didn't take the chances. I remember Harrison went through, hit the post, and then the right back Bogle with the opportunity late in the game. But yeah, Burnley was a bit more concise in the key moments.
Okay, that's it for this week's episode of The Rest is Football. So goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me. Have a great week.